Hey, I'm John Landis here with another tip. If you're setting up your shop on your own in your garage, in your basement, and you're wondering what things you might want, clamps are a necessity. And there are, I was going to say hundreds, there probably aren't hundreds out there, but there are tens and tens and tens of them. And you're going to want to know what you're going to want to get. Here in our wood shop, I've got a few laid out here. The one thing that we go to every single day is the pipe clamp. This pipe clamp is The fixture is sold separately. You can get that at any home store or your woodworking magazines. These affix to a standard 3/4 inch or 1 inch or 1/2 inch plumbing pipe, threaded, and these just screw right onto the end. This slides on the end, and therefore you can create any length pipe you want depending on what size pipe you buy. You buy a 4-foot pipe, you've got a 4-foot clamp. 3-foot, you got a 3-foot clamp. These are great. We go to these clamps every single day. They're good for gluing up table slabs. They're good for gluing up legs to aprons. Every single day we use this. Similar to the pipe clamp, we have what I call the bar clamp, although I think they're called sash clamps. This is a hardier version of the pipe clamp. It's similar to an I-beam. There's no flex in these. These can really be clamped down hard if you need to. We don't have a ton of them. I think we have maybe 8 or 10 of these. We use these often, but for specific needs. Same as a pipe clamp, they can just take a hardier pressure to them. So some of the other ones you've probably seen, quick grips. These are great to have around the shop. They come in various sizes. I've seen tiny little ones that to me are worthless unless you're building little models of something, to longer ones. We don't really use these to do any clamping and any pressure of glue ups or putting furniture together. These are more used to maybe clamp a piece to the table, to the bench, as we're trying to hold, say, a chair leg to the bench while we're running a mortise in it. So these are good for hold downs. They're good because you can do it one-handed, so you can hold the piece that you're using in place, put this down, and clamp this one-handed. So we have a nice variety of these, not a ton of these, but we have a variety of them. We go to these every day too, but more for clamping things down. Now, similar to the quick grip, but a little bit different, is this C-clamp. We have a lot of these. The great thing about these is the deep throat. That's probably about a 6-inch span that you can get, so you can get pretty deep onto things, and the amount of pressure that you can apply on here, and more so if you have the kind that has a little metal part that sticks out so that you can get even more torque. These get a ton of pressure on here. You're going to want some of these. Again, I'd probably start out with maybe half a dozen of these because you'll go to these often. A lot of clamping pressure and really good to have around the shop. Smaller version, same thing, good clamping pressure, nice deep throat for what its size is, but it gives you options, but it's also small. If you need a smaller one, you don't want it. This thing weighs a ton. If you need something a little smaller, you go with that. Then you probably, if you're a woodworker or have any woodworking in your family at all, you've seen these, you have these in your shop, you think they're from a time gone by, and they are. These are wood screw clamps. These are handy. We have a lot of them. What they're really handy for is that you can clamp at angles. So if you have an angled board, you're trying to clamp something, you can clamp these things at angles because the screws go at different paces. So you can get good clamping pressure out of these. You can get good hold downs for these too. So these are handy to have around, and chances are you have them. You can buy these new, but these are so easy to find at flea markets. We use them, we have them, they're handy to have around, and when you need them, this is what you need. Everybody's got spring clamps too. These are 2-inch spring clamps, one-handed operation. You know, not the greatest of pressure, but boy, when you squeeze them down on your hand, plenty of pressure. We use these for, I don't know, putting glue blocks onto edges of aprons and stuff like that. I think you probably ought to have about 2 dozen of them. They're gonna be handy. You're gonna pull them into play often, and when you need them, you need them. I have to say that my favorite clamp that we have in the shop is this. It's called a toggle clamp. Now, where we use this is on all of our jigs. You can have a jig that you have the curviest bit of furniture, maybe it's a chair leg that's curvy, and you're putting it at an angle and it's sitting on the funkiest jig that you can't possibly get a clamp on. You screw one of these to that jig, and this toggle clamp just exerts so much pressure onto that piece that you're trying to hold. You can put them anywhere. You just screw them into place and you can put toggle clamps anywhere. You can hold the funkiest piece in the funkiest position on the funkiest jig. These things are fantastic, and you may not know what you're going to use them for at first, but get a good number of these as well, because these things come in handy when you have them. Well, that's about it. Chances are, in the end, you're going to end up with all of these clamps anyway because you're going to find that you need them. Each does a specific job. But if you're going to open up your shop and you're going to get things going, definitely start with the pipe clamps, move on to a C-clamp. That should get the job done. Listen, I appreciate you watching. Check back here for some more advice.